Welcome to Absolute Comics, taking the place of Comics Experiment this week. This is the show that every Tuesday where Sal and I sit down and talk about the latest news in comic books. And since this week is the week of fandom, on the 2 days that we stream our live shows, Tuesdays and Thursdays over at twitch.tv/Comicstorian, we wanted to bring you guys a discussion about Three Jokers, Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, everything that happened in fandom, and basically have a big DC discussion kind of a day. If you're wondering who Sal is, he's not our usual host on Comics Experiment, but he is for Absolute Comics. Sal runs the channel known as ComicPOP, where he talks about comic books on a regular basis, reviewing them, discussing them, and having his own fun. If you don't know who I am because you're watching this over on Twitch or you're listening to this on all of our audio platforms, from iTunes to Spotify to SoundCloud, I'm Benny. I run a channel known as Comicstorian, where we dramatically read your comics back to you. Today's a little bit weird. We're going to be doing a dual stream attempted thing because fandom and Three Jokers is such a big deal. So it's going to be a little awkward. We're going to try it out. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if anybody watching this after the fact on Patreon or YouTube memberships or Twitch or any of the locations you can watch it afterwards, I apologize if something is weird or out of the place. Today's episode, since it's going to take the place of Comics Experiment, is also brought to you by Full Sail University. Today's podcast is sponsored by Full Sail University, a great online or on-campus university to help you get a degree in filmmaking and cinematography. Get more information at fullsail.edu/comicsexperiment, and that should be an easy line, according to Dan, who gave me the actual read. I'll be telling you a little bit more about that in the middle of today's episode in the post version, but if you're watching it live, you're not going to get the mid-roll. Anyway, that was my intro. How did I do? Did I explain it?
Not bad. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Absolute Comics, taking the place of Comics Experiment. We do this show every Tuesday. Comics Experiment is done every Thursday on our Twitch channel. So let's take it from the top, Sal. Before we go into Three Jokers and fandom, let me talk about the topic that I'm just going to tell you about.
Please do. Yes, I'm very excited.
So today's topics are really going to be simple, guys. We're going to talk about comic books that came out today. Three Jokers, Flash, the Joker Wars stuff. And that's what I want to talk to Sal about real quick. Then we're going to talk about fandom. So, first off, you're not a huge Flash fan, right?
I appreciate Flash, but I don't read him regularly. I read, collected stories, after the fact. I don't read them month to month.
Okay. So what's going on in the Flash right now is, if you're not caught up on Joshua Williamson's run, right now Eobard is in Barry's body. Yeah. And he's broken the timeline and they're fixing it. And they've brought back every missing member of the Flash family. Now, all the expected people are back. Jesse Quick, Max Mercury,
Bart Allen.
Bart Allen, he's back. We got Jay Garrick has come back to ask questions. Eobard's back. But the only thing I really wanted to go into, the one that is the funniest one that they brought back, Inertia. They brought back Bart Allen's clone.
No.
That was in today's issue.
That's a deep cut.
He doesn't get very much, but it's just he's there and he's just throwing punches at Barry, and Barry's like, "Who is this?" And
what is this?
Yeah, and Max Mercury's like, "Oh, it's the clone of your grandson." And he's like,
"Right,
what?"
Yeah, Max would know. That's amazing. I remember Josh Williamson was really hyped. This is the Finish Line arc, I believe.
Yeah.
And he said he's gonna pull every Flash. And he's ending after this. You won't see Williamson on Flash for a long time after this.
No. But the funniest thing about Inertia is, for those who don't know, he was last left off by Wally West, locked in time as a statue. Uh-huh. And I guess the excuse is that he's just been at the finish line this whole time.
Yeah, why not? I mean, a lot can happen between continuities.
Yeah. I just find that funny, and there's nothing more to say about it because that storyline is still going. Right. But I just thought, you of all people who loves the pre-New 52 universe,
I do.
They basically dropped in Inertia, who has not been mentioned since Wally West turned him into a statue.
Right.
Not even offhandedly. He hasn't been mentioned at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that because that Williamson had a ball. He's he's definitely been digging through the archives, finding every single Fast character that has any connection to Barry. It's delicious. I can't wait to check it out.
So, it was pretty incredible. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk to you about before we go into topics that you've also read and could talk about, the Joker War tie-in. So, I already told you a little bit last week about what's going on with Nightwing, where he's been turned into the sidekick of Joker, which is so much better. But
Than Rick?
Than Rick, yeah. No, it's Dickie Boy. That's
Dicky
his
Boy,
encouragement. Hey, at least he's got Dick back in his name.
Hey, at least it's back to his original name, or some variation thereof.
Yeah, Dicky Boy. So anyway, what I'm loving about this though, so Batgirl's doing her own thing. That kind of ended where Joker showed up, shot her, and she had to go recover again. And now there's duplicate Barbara Gordons floating around, and we don't know what's happening with that.
Oh,
But
you mean in respect to the Three Joker story?
Yeah. Well,
We don't know when that takes place.
We don't. Yeah, no. Well, so the Joker story happened, Joker War, and then now
Joker War. Yeah.
and now in Batgirl there's a duplicate Batgirl.
Oh.
Yeah, so we don't know, and it seems to be the ramifications of what he did in Joker War. So basically, she got disabled again, like he shorted out her implant. So this latest issue that came out today is basically just her recovering.
Okay.
So she's out of the Joker War, which is weird because she's in Nightwing, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. See, this is why I don't read tie-ins.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you make it fit? Some of them aren't going to work.
Yeah. So it's kind of whatever. But the Red Hood tie-in is following up with the Dicky Boy plot. Like it's tying into the tie-ins. So
Okay,
Red Hood goes to burn down an area that's going to kill off a bunch of different Joker gang people, right?
Okay.
Which is really cool. And I'll see, sore throat.
So what happens when you talk for a living?
But anyway, so what's going on in Red Hood is he burned down the orphanage he grew up in, but then he runs into Punchline, and she's got Joker's daughter, another deep cut character that hasn't been around in forever.
That's cool. Okay.
And the funniest part about it is last week, Dan on our review show was like, what happened to Joker's daughter? Like, we haven't seen her.
Yeah.
And they straight up, like, it wasn't even like a weird, like, he walks in and he's like, that's Dula Dent, the Joker's daughter. And then when the Joker calls him, he's like, why are you doing this to your daughter? Like,
Right.
Right, this character exists and she's in lore and we're just going to keep her around.
That's really fun. That's really smart. I'm glad, because this is kind of a big mic drop story for Joker. It's the Joker War. It's the biggest thing for the Joker since the last thing he was in.
Yeah.
Not to mention Three Jokers. So they're definitely going to use, they should pull out all the stops, especially if you have a bunch of different Bat titles that have direct connections to that character.
It gets even better, though. So we know that Nightwing is currently Dicky Boy working for the Joker. So the Joker is sending him in as his muscle, and the mask that he's wearing has the Joker's voice coming out.
Oh.
So, like, Red Hood's fighting a fully masked Dick Grayson who doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And so they're having it's Dick Grayson versus Red Hood. He doesn't know what's going on, and he's trying to save the Joker's daughter. So it's interesting.
Cool.
It's interesting the way they're all tied. I kind of like what they're doing with these tie-ins more than the main plot. Because as much as I do like the main plot, it does feel like a standard kind of Joker has taken Gotham. Joker has the money. Batman's got to get out of this. While these other storylines, I'm like, we've never seen Nightwing work for Joker and beat up Red Hood. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and that's what you should deliver on. If it's going to be a tie-in, give us something I've never seen. If it's going to be, especially if it's part of a story arc where Batman fights the Joker. At the end of the day, I mean, it's an epic story, and I really, really enjoy Joker War. But Joker
War stuff is really good.
Right.
But I hate to say it, but it's just because it is a comic book, it's a rotating door storyline. You almost kind of know where it's going to end. Somehow Batman's going to, because we already know he's not going to be rich at the end of this, but he's going to have a lot of money. So he's going to be mostly back to normal, just without all the toys. Like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's cool.
That's the stuff I wanted to tell you about before we move into the topic of the day.
That's cool. I will definitely read that. Sorry.
Nightwing's worth it. Red Hood's worth it. They definitely are.
Okay.
Make sure you start. I think it's whatever today's Red Hood issue is, because if you go before that, he's time traveling and meeting up with himself. It's a whole thing. I'm loving it, but if you haven't read it, you're going to be like, "What?
Where am I?"
Is that
Sweet.
Red Hood Rebirth talking to Red Hood New 52?
Oh.
Both teams meet. It was weird.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, Sal. I'll let you take point for this one.
Oh, please, no.
The biggest topic of the day. Yeah.
All right. Three Jokers #1 dropped today. The new DC New Comic Book Day. Written, of course, by Jeff Johns. Art by
for the
Jason
record,
Fabok.
They are calling it DC Day.
Oh, where are they? Is that
if you look
official?
at their Twitter, they're like, it's DC Day. Here's what came out.
I don't know about you, but I've noticed that every day is DC Day this summer because Marvel was kind enough to to give us some space by having Empire happen, and so DC could just like make sweeping decisions, good or bad, that catch every headline. And it's been unparalleled, the amount of DC exposure. Again, good or bad. Today, I'd like to say it's good news. Three Jokers, long time coming, since Darkseid War. Remember Darkseid War?
I say that at the beginning of my video. Technically, this was talked about in Darkseid War 4 years ago.
Right? Yeah, when Dr. Manhattan killed Metron, the Three Jokers came up. and they never did anything about it. Well, here it is. And man, this issue, $6.99, kind of a heavy price tag, but over 40 pages. Not bad. I don't know about you, but like the reading
51.
experience, I was like, 51?
Yeah.
Damn.
I only know that because when I hit up my Reddit this morning, he was like, I'm on 36 of 51.
Nice. I was like reading it. I'm like, is this gonna stop? And it eventually, I was like, okay, I see where it's gonna wrap up. But like, I noticed it was long, and it felt really, really cohesive and substantial.
Okay, I am happy with it. As soon as I opened it up, I could definitely feel that Jeff Johns is still digging Doomsday Clock vibes. You could tell 100% he was writing this while that was going on.
It's
the
cemented in that
layout, he's doing the classic style, which I enjoy. I feel like you get more out of your comic with the 9-panel layout. Although I do feel like he uses it to some degree. Like there's an entire page of a raccoon getting in the way of a truck.
I was like, okay, where are we going with this? I read it, I picked it up digitally, but I also have it on reserve from my comic shop. I just didn't get a chance to get out there today, but I also didn't want to be spoiled on this book, and I'm happy to give them my money for books like this. So I picked it up digitally, and I read it with the guided view. So I didn't know, I didn't even realize it was 9 panels of this raccoon.
Yeah, it was a normal thing of about 9 panels on a regular basis. And for the record, those who are watching the show, there will be spoilers for Three Jokers, unless you guys want us to go, it's good!
And then the show's over. All right, thanks a lot. See you guys next week.
We haven't had something to talk about in months, guys. Of course we're going to talk about this in fandom.
Yes.
Yeah, I apologize if you want to read it yourself. My advice would be to go read it yourself.
Right. So I'm going to ask you this, because when I finished the first issue, I had a reaction, like a feeling about this issue. How did you feel about it? I mean, it's been 4 years coming. Did you carry the baggage? Were you like, okay, 4 years, here we go? Or were you kind of like, no, I got to put it out of my mind. I'm just going to read it. It's just a comic book. Let's see how it merits. How was it?
For me, I did that. I kind of went into it not expecting anything. Because the moment they announced, like when it first got said, we're doing Three Jokers. And if you look at the history with Jason Fobach, he says right then they were talking about it and it got postponed because of everything happening at DC.
You're right.
And then Jeff Johns got busy. And then when they came back, it was him and Jeff Johns that both said it can be in continuity or it can't be. It's entirely up to and once they said that, I was like, nah, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're not going to make it over the top crazy, but they're also not going to make it it was hard to. Once they said it might not stay in continuity, I was kind of like, all right, well, I'll just enjoy it for what it is. It's a single,
especially because they said it was gonna be. Like when it was originally, they were like, this isn't continuity, this matters, this is gonna set up this. I mean, well, they had dominoes set up, right? Because like they knew when they announced DC Universe Rebirth, when we had after the Darkseid War, and they set up Rebirth itself, we knew there were things like each thing led into the next thing. And when the first of the delays happened and they had to put out other things to take up the space for where things were supposed to come out, the momentum was kind of lost, and they had to make decisions like, is Doomsday Clock in continuity or not? Did it matter? Did it happen? Did elements of it happen? Does the ending matter?
Yeah.
Three Jokers comes out after Doomsday Clock. I don't even know which one was supposed to come out first anymore. But one thing is certain, Jeff Johns absolutely wrote those 4 years ago. Like, this does not read like somebody who did heavy edits on this book. This was what he wanted and what he was planning from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think they said they were going to change the ending a little bit, but I think only in as much as they wanted it to be more divorced from continuity.
Right, which isn't terrible. I don't mind it being divorced from continuity, but they made, when Darkseid War came out, and they were like, what do you mean there's 3 of them? We all got super hyped. How is this going to play into continuity? Because this was during Darkseid War when shit was everywhere. I mean,
it was New 52. It was still New 52. So, like, new stuff, old stuff, the reveal about the Anti-Monitor, like, the implications were long-reaching.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a war with Darkseid where he died. And we had a god of death Flash, and we had a god of strength. Everything was out the window at that point. It was like, what are they going to do to the Joker? Holy crap. Then it came out. It never came out, and we never got anything to it. And then they said it's not going to be in continuity. So I was like, okay, so it'll be a fun one. Now, when they first said that, I was less excited about it because we didn't know what Black Label was yet either.
That's true.
Now that we know what Black Label is, I'm excited because I'm like, okay, it's going to be a great story, but it's not going to be an important story. If that's the best way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, well, if you're a continuity buff, if you're excited for this to like dictate the new direction of Batman, you're going to be disappointed because I'm sure it won't. I think Joker War will have more of an impact on Batman for the next year or two than Three Jokers.
Yes.
That being said, though, Three Jokers sold like gangbusters, and I feel like if they were smart, they'd be like, well, look at the sales. We want to capitalize on this.
Oh, yeah.
And make this matter. Make it be in continuity.
I will say there is a couple of big reveals in this one, but overall, this first issue is nothing but setup.
Right.
It sets up the concepts of the Three Jokers. It doesn't really set up. There's no it sets up ideas. It sets up a ton of things to theorize.
Yes.
But I don't think anything in this issue. Before we go straight up and spoil it, I don't think anything in this issue was like, if you need to see this yourself. Yeah. Like, this issue felt like total setup, total explanation. It gave us the groundwork, which has led to a dozen different theories already as to what is going to happen next. And is this a monthly book, I think?
Yes, it is. I think issue 2 comes out at the end of September.
Okay.
And issue 3, end of October. So, and I think, you've had 4 years or 5 years, however long. Okay, it should come out on time.
Yeah, well, no, they said they weren't putting it out until it was done. It's done.
Right.
So there will be no delays at all unless we have another pandemic level kind of like, knock on wood. I got a wood there. Yeah.
No,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about what actually happened then.
Okay.
There's two big implications. There's two big reveals that happen in this thing in general. The cliffhanger isn't a reveal. I said there's only one real big reveal. And it's not even a full reveal. It's what the criminal Joker's implying. So for those who have not read it, did not watch any videos on it yet, there are 3 Jokers. There's the criminal, the comedian, and what was the last one?
What do they call him?
Comedian's the 90s Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's
the killing joke Joker?
I thought
the criminal is the
Gold Age.
There's the Golden Age Joker.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one, and I don't remember what the hell it's called. Well, the 3 Jokers you're getting
The clown.
The clown, thank you. You're getting the Golden Age Joker from Batman #1. You're getting the Killing Joke Joker from The Killing Joke.
Yep.
And you're getting the Joker who... The Death in the Family Joker. So now they're saying definitively there were 2 different Jokers.
They're also kind of lining up... They're also kind of lining up the Death in the Family Joker to also be kind of like the one from the animated series, kind of like the one that a lot of people know if you aren't aware of, like the twisted, creepy Joker. And
right, like is the one who killed Jason Todd the one who's in Endgame?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Death of the Family. I don't know.
I think it is. I think the implications are what came out first, Killing Joke or
or Death in the Family.
Yeah.
I think it was Death in the Family came out first because was it? Death in the Family was 88. Killing Joke was 87 or 88. I don't remember. I think it was around the same time.
I think they're saying the one that I think the one that got Jason though is the one that is supposed to be. Well, he's kind of been around for a while. No, because Jason even says he looks different. That doesn't look like our Joker.
Yeah.
So what they're basically implying, based on I think it's like 2 panels, so we don't even have that much to go on.
No,
is that the Joker has the ability to make other Jokers. And that there are currently 3 Jokers around from whatever method he's using, and that is the one that got Jason, the one that shot Barbara, and then the classic one that met Batman.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah. And I'd say that's the biggest reveal, but I don't know how I feel about that, because that kind of throws a lot of wrenches into this whole thing.
It completely does.
Yeah, like now the Joker, like how long was each Joker around? Are they all still around? Like, how does this even work? Which I'm assuming we're all going to get answers to as we're going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the fact that they're basically 50 issues an issue, or 50 pages an issue, 3 issues, that's 150 pages. That's not... there's plenty of time and room for explanation. But like you said, the big reveal is the Ace chemicals acid. There's something about it that makes Jokers, and Golden Age Joker mentions to the other two Jokers that that's what they do. They make Jokers.
They make other Jokers, yeah.
So there could when we were told there are 3, we assumed that there are only going to be 3 Jokers and that they all each represent a different era in Batman. And indeed, that's true to an extent. But I think that the larger implication of this issue is they're saying there are 3 Jokers that are the antagonists of the story. There could be 20 Jokers. That, like, the one who cut his face off might be even different from the one from Endgame, might be the different one from the other 3 Jokers. Like, there could be an animated series Joker for all we know. Like, there are a ton of Jokers, and that it's the acid, it's the specific chemicals in Ace chemicals that can make Jokers. And I guess that's part of the nefarious plot, because they stole like a truck full of that stuff.
He said we need to make another Joker.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm assuming the guy who had his face ripped off, who's a part of Endgame, who has the heart in the ground with that anesium, he's done. He's out of the picture. We need a new Joker.
Well, is he, or is one of our 3 Jokers that one, or was that a different Joker who went through the Snyder story and is somewhere else? Because we've seen, I think there's I thought I remember there being a variant cover of Endgame Joker by Fabok, and
there is, yeah.
So
the question comes down to, how does Joker maintain the memories, or does he not? Because he's the Joker.
I don't think he does. I think it's like when the Joker who commits the particular crimes that he does commits them, like, he only remembers doing that kind of stuff. He'll only reference that. Yeah, and I mean, looking back on a bunch of...
This would actually make a lot of sense in the history of the Joker, because think about it. Depending on who writes him, he knows who Batman is. He doesn't know who Batman is. He's in love with Batman. He's not in love with Batman. He wants to beat the Bat Family. He wants to work with the Bat Family. Like,
yeah, sometimes he wants to scare Barbara. Other times he couldn't care less about Barbara.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would actually make sense because of the way the Joker's... And, I mean, obviously this was not planned back in the day, but it's the way the Joker's always been handled. Each writer puts his spin on the Joker.
Right.
Which, of all the villains in existence, the Joker probably has the most diverse appearances out there. This is the comical, loves Batman. This is the super dark and twisted, wants to kill everyone. You know, this could actually work for Joker and it be in continuity and make sense.
Yeah. It could also be a way for them to say, like, everybody wants to know which story. Like, everybody has favorite Joker stories. Everybody has their definitive Joker story, and they want to either pay homage to it or put their own stamp on it. And yet, you've noticed that there are kind of diminishing returns when it comes to Joker stories. They have to get even bigger and even more ridiculous, more ornate, more personal, more intimate. And it's like each new Joker story that comes out either overshadows or maybe doesn't even pay homage or reference to the biggest or the most seminal or the stories that made Joker reach the point where they want to use him to that capacity. And now it's kind of like, you could say that time is over. Like, we're going to get rid of the Killing Joke Joker. We're going to get rid of the Death in the Family Joker. We're going to get rid of the Golden Age Joker and replace them with new Jokers who are more than happy to start fresh with Batman. For whatever reason, they all seem to have some kind of obsession with Batman. I don't know what that's all about.
I also don't know if this is what's actually been going on for 60 years, how the world's greatest detective did not see things. Like, even Jason saw... Isn't this Joker a little thinner than the other Joker? But Batman never questioned it.
No. And that actually raises some questions within the story of issue 1. Because Joker has an opportunity to talk with Jason, and he makes references to a Death in the Family, and they either line up or don't. And I'm not quite sure where I fall on that one. If Jason thinks that Joker that they face in that issue looks different or acts differently than the one that he remembers.
Well, no, hold on. He says, don't you think the Joker looks a little different now? I mean, the last time Jason met up with the Joker would have been Endgame, I think.
Right. That's
I get
true.
what you're saying. Oh, he looks different from my Joker. But Jason has seen the Joker since then.
That's true. That's
so
true.
you could be easily referencing that. You know what I mean?
And that's actually probably more likely because it's referencing like, hey, look at the like. Listen, we are acknowledging that that none of these Jokers look anything like the Joker used in the last story.
Yeah, exactly. What was the last Joker, or the current story? I guess technically,
right?
Jason literally met up with them today.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. War Jokes and Riddles was one of the last Joker stories. He also showed up during the wedding arc, and of course, he was in Joker War. I think those are the last 3 times I've seen Joker. Which
before that, I think was Endgame, which had a bunch of tie-ins all to itself, and that was 2016.
Yeah, and after Endgame, he still came back. Like he was returned, and they brought him back in at the end of Super Heavy, I think, or one of those stories.
Well, he came back with Batman because Batman was missing, and we discovered that Joker was also missing.
Right.
So, it's interesting. So the other big thing in this one, this isn't a reveal. This is more of like what the hell happened cliffhanger. Yeah. Jason finally kills the Joker.
Yes.
And after all these years, he finally does the one thing he wanted to do this whole time.
And it's the joke. It's the move I have been saying for years is what he should have done when he first showed up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what's the idea here? I mean, Jason he was beaten and then blown up by the Joker. He has a chip on his shoulder, to say the least. He doesn't believe in Batman's methods. He kills. When he first showed up, he beat Joker with a crowbar. Never kills him. I know that narratively, Winnick does a nice job of actually trying to make it more like Batman's decision. But if Jason really doesn't care and he's that cavalier about killing people who deserve it, why doesn't he just kill the Joker?
Joker has
why does he
armor.
never do that?
That's been the problem. That's why he's never done it. That's why he was willing to kill the Penguin. That's why he's willing to kill Black Mask. But when he gets to the Joker, Batman said no.
Right, and it's oh, come on, he's the one he's the one that Batman should forgive you for killing.
Yeah, and Jason's the one that should go, I don't care. Blam.
Right. Yeah. So they kill him, and so Jason kills him, and I hope that it's the right one because
I loved that comment. I hope that was the right one.
Did we get and that's the thing is for me, was it enough? Was it satisfying enough? Did I? Because I've always wanted to see Jason do that. I think everyone who's a Jason fan wants to see him kill the Joker. Was it good enough? Was it worth it? Because this is, at least that's the implication based on what Joker says to Jason, which I don't buy, by the way. But Jason's reaction suggests that it's a retcon. That Johns says that when Jason was left bleeding and broken in that hut in Ethiopia, that he begged Joker to let him live and offered to be his own Robin.
Which is really interesting considering what's going on in the Joker War right now.
Yeah. Well, and I love that Johns plays with the Red Hood concept. He's you became you are my Robin. You've always been my Robin. And I'm that would be enough to get him to kill him. But I really enjoyed that interplay, but I'm not sure if I trust him or not. And that's the mark of a good book, right? It's I don't trust that character because he's unreliable and he's untrustworthy. It was a fascinating concept, and I was that was a good part of the book. I mean, the whole book is a triumph in terms of visual storytelling. Fayback does an amazing job with this issue. I don't know about you, but it's just a gorgeous looking comic.
The whole issue is gorgeous. Everything there. How about the other implication though with Barbara? I loved that line where she tries to stop him, and he just, "When have you ever missed?"
Yep. And she's screw you.
You're of all the people, though, when has she ever missed? She's the one.
Yeah. Right. I really like that sequence. That's a great sequence too. The whole book was really, really excellently executed. But because of the uncertainty and the revelation, not only that there are 3 Jokers, but they're in cahoots.
I think that's what we were all expecting a while ago. Because they even state who made him the leader. Oh, he did. And as soon as they said that, I'm since when would Joker listen to even another Joker?
Exactly. Yeah. Why? That's the one time they all seemed out of character.
Yeah, because they were all listening to this criminal Joker. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he didn't listen to Lex Luthor. He didn't listen to the Batman Who Laughs. He didn't listen to Perpetua. He doesn't listen to anyone else. And the whole point is he doesn't work with any teams. As part of his whole no one knows who he is or where his history is because he's never worked with anyone. But he'll work with himself? Like, I don't know.
Did you
that
like,
seemed
there was
out
also,
of character. That seemed weird.
It seemed a little weird, but I hope that based on John's understanding of characters, particularly in the DC universe, I think I trust him enough to be like, yeah, no, you should be wondering why that is. But there's also a moment that's like just funny to me. You know, we don't know who Joker is. We never know what his name is. There's a sequence where Batman goes to a crime scene where the Joker basically recreates the victims from the Ace Chemicals break-in in Killing Joke. It's the two hoods who hire him as the comedian and a guy who looks like Joker, the comedian, from Killing Joke. But Batman says it's impossible to know who these people are because of like the contortions of their faces and how and the acid that burns off their fingers. So as if to say, like, once you become a Joker, it will be impossible to discover who they are. Like, it's a way of explaining within the like physics of the story and the universe why it's impossible to identify who the Joker is. Which I was like, that's kind of cool. Cool. Like, that's smart. Way to go. But anyway, that was a neat idea.
Yeah, no, it was. I like the book in general. I there isn't that much we can say about it other than Theorycraft, which I think would be an entire episode unto itself.
Totally.
In general, I think it's 100% worth reading, even with what we've done already. I 100% think that it's worth reading. So,
we'll get on the ground floor. Like,
I don't have anything else to really say about it because it's awesome. It's amazing. I love theorizing, but at the same time, I don't know where else we can go with this discussion right now.
We're only a third of the way through, but you do like it. How did you feel? No, it's only 3.
Only 3. All right.
Yeah, but how did you like it? Like, did you like it? Was it worth the hype?
I guess because I didn't have any real expectation at this point. Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of was, but there was nothing in it. I mean, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I can like identify things that make me question it or make me question the story and go along the journey that Johns wants me to go on, which I'm very excited about. But like overall, there was no moment like in Doomsday Clock or DC Universe Rebirth where I went, "Oh my god!" You know what I mean?
The closest I got was Jason taking the shot finally.
Maybe that, and even then I was like, "Okay, but like we got 2 more." You know. But at the same time, I was also like, I don't know if I even believe that was the right one, like because of the weird kind of like retconning.
Well, even Jason doesn't know if he did it right.
Yeah, and I'm like, because that's the thing, if Jason doesn't know, then what Joker said to him about like begging to be his Robin, is that true or not?
Well, I think that was true. I think that's true. But I mean. Right, like, I think Jason said, I hope I got the right one, because literally Batman was called away because they had the other one.
Yes.
And there's currently, and Batgirl's throwing out the theory that are these just, like, stand-ins and cronies? Like, are they not Joker? So I think Jason's less questioning, did I get the right Joker, and more questioning, did I just shoot a henchman? You know, like, if I'm going to finally do it, did I at least get the right guy?
Yeah. I don't know. So that was interesting, and I think we will get an answer, hopefully. I hope we do. But it seems interesting. The issue was cool, and I think it was so good looking. And the characters were within their own character. Like, nobody felt out of character. No. And I'm excited for more.
Jason felt more brutal than he has in the last year or so.
This is the Jason I would expect. Like, this, I don't read a lot of Head Red Hood, so like for me, I'm like, this should be Jason, right? This is Jason all the time.
He's gotten softer over the years. Jason feels more in line with what Batman fans are used to with Red Hood, because when he shows up, this is that Jason. And then he goes back to his book. He's like, yeah, I know. I just beat the tar out of like every bad guy in Gotham and made Batman super mad. But Artemis, Starfire, do you guys want to go on a date? Like, we'll just chill out.
Yeah. I like that. I was cool with it. It's all great. But yeah, I don't know if I felt like it was. Yeah, I felt good about it, but it didn't knock my socks off. But maybe it should have, because it really is like an excellent book.
It might. Maybe issue 2 will. I think part of the problem with this is a lot of this was just set up. I think that's the biggest issue.
You're totally right. It is a lot of stuff.
I feel like this is going to be a book that by the third one, we're going to be like, okay, here's the entire episode dedicated to 3 Jokers because we need to talk about what all this means.
Exactly. I hope so. I feel like it will. I feel like that's true. So, 3 Jokers. Cool. If you can believe it.
All right, cool. Next one, we're going to hit fandom news. We got an article here from Variety. They organize it by coolest to least coolest, so we're going to go from bottom up.
Good idea.
Starting at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'll link the article we're going to be we got our roundup news from for all of you guys in both chats.
Yep.
There you go. So you can follow along if you'd like to. We're going to go to the bottom and then go to the top. The top's got Batman, so I was like, well, that's obviously the biggest piece.
Yeah, come on. It's Batman.
All right, so let's start with the bottom here. John Ridley is making a Batman miniseries. If you don't know who he is, he's the screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave. He's going to write a new Batman comic book miniseries in January 2021. 4-issue run will center on the family of Lucius Fox, Batman's trusted business partner, and will likely feature a Batman as a person of color. I feel like... So I'm not going to lie, I've never seen 12 Years a Slave. I know it's gotten tons of awards, though.
Yes.
But I feel like this is the remnants of the 5G we're going to make Batman black. And everyone,
This is
it was going to be Luke, and it was going to be... I feel like... So after everything kind of converted back, 5G kind of fell through. I feel like they were like, okay, but people... like, yes, some people got angry about a black Batman, but some people were excited about a black Batman.
Exactly.
Let's at least do something with Luke before... You know what I mean? Instead of just throwing it out the window.
Yeah, well, and especially because it is John Ridley, a noted and a celebrated screenwriter, and we convinced them, this is DC talking, to come here and set up an entirely new status quo for Batman. Clearly, money was spent, pages were drawn, designs were made, scripts are written, probably books are done. So why wouldn't we just release it as a Black Label book or something and just give it to everybody anyway? And hey, you know what? If it sells 300,000 units, you know what? We'll put that in continuity. Screw it. Who cares? Like, we still have time. Like, it makes sense to not waste your money on that.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And I think I don't think it's a terrible idea at all. This does cater to both sides of the fandom, that people that wanted it and didn't want it. So I think this is a great middle ground. And if these 4 issues turn out great and Luke returns, for those who don't know, Luke Fox was a black Batman. He was known as Batwing. And he basically was Iron Man meets Batman. He had the robotic suit that Batman gave him. And he had a whole run at New 52. Like, Luke Fox as Batman is not a new concept. It's been used before. So I'm not against this at all, especially if they're going to make it a separate thing, so we don't even have to deal with everyone freaking the hell out like when Marvel did this whole thing. So
right, and this is great because like even the people who didn't like this idea probably didn't like it because it was superseding the main continuity. Yeah. Now you're going to get people who probably were going to skip it. Because now it's like, well, why wouldn't I check out another extra Batman story that's out of continuity? Check it out. That sounds really cool.
And you're right. If it does super, super well, they'll find some way to bring it into continuity. I mean, DC is 100%, and it's probably in this, but we'll talk about it real quick. But DC is wholeheartedly embracing the multiverse. And right now in comics, it's all over the multiverse. Now in the movies, TV shows, all about the multiverse. Yep. They'll easily find ways to put that in if they want to go that
Totally.
route. Yeah.
Totally.
But I always found it funny when they announced 5G, or it leaked, right? And it was like, Luke Fox is going to be a black Batman. And all the news articles picked it up like, Batman's going to be black! And I'm like, I mean, technically, that was like 10 years ago. That's not even like...
Right. Yeah, but that was the reason to do it, because they knew the news cycle was going to say black Batman. Like, I think 5G was going to go in further directions where they were like, hey, black Batman, hey, lesbian Wonder Woman, like, hey... Like, new Superman. I think they were going to go full tilt. Well, yeah, I mean,
we got a few leaks, and some of them were like, oh, John is taking over and things like that. It was,
right.
On one hand, the ideas were cool. On the other hand, I would like them to keep the main continuity and then make a branch off continuity of this 5G stuff. Almost like they're doing it Deceased. The ideas of 5G, I think, would have been cool as a separate solo book. Okay, so it like they're doing with Deceased, where John and Damian, all those characters are taking over, and we're all loving it. But because we still have just general Batman doing Batman things. So,
or how about, if you want to go in that direction, if you want to sell headlines, say Black Batman, create an Ultimate Universe where Bruce Wayne's black and Superman's been operating for years, and he has a son, and that son got old, and he's Superman now. Like, do whatever you like, but make it ultimate, and just that way you get to tell those stories, and if they're successful, you're getting 2 bites the same apple, basically.
Yeah,
because you're selling 2 Batman books in 2 different directions. Why not?
Today's podcast is sponsored by Full Sail University. Have you always wanted to get into the film industry, but you aren't quite sure where to begin? Then you should check out Full Sail University, where you can learn all aspects of filmmaking and cinematography, either on campus or online. Full Sail's Film Bachelor's Degree program immerses you in every aspect of filmmaking. You'll gain hands-on experience from everything involved in large-scale production, allowing you to specialize in areas that fit you best. The Digital Cinematography Online Bachelor's Degree program merges traditional filmmaking with the technical tools used in everything from documentaries to commercial production and web video, preparing you to be a jack of all trades in small crew productions. Full Sail grads have gone on to work on some of the most amazing films and TV shows, such as Avengers Endgame, Joker, The Mandalorian, and more. If you want to find out more about these film programs and get started, visit fullsail.edu/comicsexperiment. That's fullsail.edu/comicsexperiment and get started on pursuing your filmmaking dreams. But at the end of the day, we're still getting that series, so I'm on board with that. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, totally.
We got an update on the Sandman Netflix series. I didn't know that existed.
All we know is they're definitely still making it, and they're gonna gender bend a few of them, a few characters from Gaiman's story. So
I mean, I think that's fine.
And it's gonna be set today. Yeah.
Okay,
and it's going to be. It's not going to be a period piece set in the 80s. It will be a 2020 story. Or
so they're going to kind of update it like they did with the Watchmen show, where like it's
completely.
They're already changing some stuff up, so it's going to be almost like The Boys, where they're kind of altering a few things to make it work better for a television show.
The Boys, The Preacher, any of those shows that were adaptations of works that are definitively cemented in like the 80s, 90s, or 2000s are going to be set today, and that's it. Yeah. So Netflix is making a Sandman series that will be a loose adaptation of the book.
Okay.
But Gaiman is story consultant, and so, it'll be pretty true to form, but there's going to be some sweeping changes.
The biggest problem I have with the Sandman, I love Sandman, the original, is they keep trying to do more stuff with it, but it's not like Alan Moore where DC just owned Killing Joke and owned Watchmen and all these other things, so he can just rant and rave all he wants, but DC just does what they want to do. Neil Gaiman, or Gaiman, however you want to say it, has his hands on Sandman, so it sounds like, and he is notoriously slow to move, which is why a lot of things don't get done.
Yeah, well, and he hasn't written Sandman in a long time. He, when he developed The Dreaming and the Sandman imprint, which, was, I think it started as Vertigo, and then they killed Vertigo and said, no, this is the Sandman imprint or something.
Yeah.
He didn't write anything. He just guided other creators.
Yeah.
But we did, through that, get Simon Spurrier on Hellblazer, which is, we're lucky to get as many issues as we got. But yeah, no. So we're getting the newest the newest Gaiman Sandman story you've ever seen. And it's going to look a lot like the story you remembered from 30 years ago.
So I'm actually a little upset that they worded it this way, but I know why.
Yeah.
That's how clickbait works. That Static Shock is returning. No, the whole Milestone media is coming back.
Yes.
This is actually the one that WB invited us to be a part of, and give
That's right.
I remember my reaction entirely. You and I are half paying attention. We're waiting for the panel to start, and I'm sipping. I think it was tea, just like this, and I'm just like, and he's like, "Welcome to the Milestone panel." I'm like, "What the heck? What?"
Yeah. Right? Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I'm so glad we were part of that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I'm excited for Static Shock to be coming back.
Yep.
But apparently, and they're doing the film for it, and there's more information here than I remember them saying, because we were paying pretty close attention to that.
Right. Yeah, they were able to clarify a few things after the fact.
Yeah, filmmaker Reginald Hudlin revealed during a panel that there is serious... Okay, no, never mind. This article says as a movie, we didn't miss anything. There are still serious discussions to have him movie.
Yeah, I think what we really know, what the actual meat of it is that DC is free to make Milestone books and
they have the original team on it. The original guys that are there.
Some of them. Dwayne McDuffie is no longer with us, and I don't remember Reginald Hudlin writing any Static Shock books, but like, it's Milestone. They're reprinting the old books,
which I think is like, that's a sign that they're actually going forward at this, because you're going to get everyone hyped for this again. Is what you're doing.
Yeah, and they said my guess is they're gonna fold the Dakotaverse into the DC universe, kind of like without mentioning it in any big way. Launch a couple of new titles, but moreover, it's more like Warner Brothers is free to make Milestone adaptations. Like, there is no longer any red tape that precludes them from like making Batman Beyond meet Static again, or have Icon be on the Young Justice show, or anything else like that. Like, they could make an Icon movie. They could put Static on Teen Titans. Like, they could do anything. They could do anything now.
Whatever the problem is apparently gone.
Yes, which was essentially just like legal red tape between McDuffie's widow and the team who wanted to keep making more Milestone stuff.
Yeah.
So, and they reached amicable terms. Everyone's apparently happy. Everybody made off on this deal. So you don't have to feel dirty about enjoying new Milestone. You can be like, all right, good. I'm just excited to see more Milestone stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that's great. Like, good. At the very least, we're getting the old stuff back. But hey, it might also pave the way for new comics and adaptations. And we know that Will Smith is a big Static fan. So
you think he'll be Static?
Maybe. No, Static a little young for him. But he could be a hell of an Icon.
All right. Moving up here, though, we had I'm excited. I am excited for this, but until we know more, I can't get that excited about it. How many times have we heard Static's gonna be back? Oh, look, he's in the background of Young Justice.
They brought him back in like during Final Crisis, and then they had a New 52 book for him, and then they were like, "Ooh, apparently there's some legal stuff we can't use, so stop publishing that book." Also, didn't sell very well anyway. Whatever. Yeah.
So next up, as we go into our higher and bigger and more, I guess, larger news. The Flash movie is still happening, and it features Ezra Miller, Batfleck, and Michael Keaton.
Yep. And I don't think they'll be done. I think there'll be another Batman. One more Batman.
Okay, so my current theory on this whole thing is, they're going to announce whatever the new mainline Batman is going to be, the one that will be featured in the movies, the crossover, stuff like that. Whoever that's going to be will be at the end of this movie.
Right.
I feel like this movie's going to open up. Flash and Batman are going to be doing something that ties into the current Justice League timeline and everything like that. Flash is going to run off, and the way for the viewers to know that we've swapped universes is going to be the new suit and Batfleck being gone.
Yes.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think we're definitely going to get like a passing of the torch, but like story-wise, you're not going to see Batfleck meet Pattinson Batman.
Right.
Or
maybe we will.
If you will.
Maybe they'll run through that.
I doubt you're going to see those two in the same room together, but I think you will. It's going to bookend it, right? Especially if Pattinson is down.
Well,
to
apparently,
be in
Pattinson is not. So I was asking this on another stream, so I don't know how true this is. But apparently, just like Joker, this Batman movie is going to be separate. Not a terrible idea. And I could totally see Pattinson being like, okay, I want to be Batman, but I don't want to be in 10 movies.
Right. Which, that's too bad, because like I would see 10 Batman movies starring him.
Yeah. We'll talk more about him directly as his role as Batman in a minute. But
exactly.
Supposedly, he's not going to be in the mainline stuff. So whatever the Flash is going to do, I think is going to introduce the new mainline, the one that will interact with the Green Lantern, the Flash, the one that will show up in Shazam and stuff like that. Batman. It's going to be interesting because now that we know Batfleck is back and we know that it's still basically Flashpoint, this is going to... I think what they're going to do is they're going to take Flash and they're going to use this to bring the idea of the multiverse to the broad audience. Comic fans get it, okay? Like I hate to say this, but what's the best way to put it? The normies. Right. They don't get... Okay, I still get questions from people who ask what I do for a living. Why isn't Batman in the Avengers? It is not ironic. It's not a joke. They're actually asking me, oh, you do comic book stuff for a living? Yeah, I know. I report on it and stuff like that. Like, oh, why isn't Batman in the Avengers?
Right.
All right, so I guess we got to start at the beginning. In the very beginning, there was Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think while the multiverse works for us, and it seems to be catching on very easily with the television audience, I think WB has realized that through the CW shows, the multiverse isn't an idea beyond the normie. It just needs to be presented to the normie.
I think for them, they were like, Spider-Verse got an Oscar, and people didn't have any complaints or questions about it. Okay, great. Let's introduce them to a multiverse.
And I think that's what the Flash's purpose is going to be, and they're going to use Batfleck and the new Batman to bookend it to be just like they showed off the new costume. Like, he's probably going to be in that like technological bodysuit one, and when he goes through, new outfit.
Yeah, you need to have another Batman to cement that moment, like to get that Flashpoint moment where he leaves the cave with Batfleck, he comes back to the cave, and it's somebody else.
Yeah, and maybe it'll be Keaton. Maybe that's the plot. He'll come back into '89 Batman, just confused.
I hope not. I think Keaton's gonna show up. I think he's like in his run. He's gonna end up tripping or whatever, and he'll end up in the '89 Batman universe, and then they'll have to, and Keaton will help him. Jumpstart it. Get someplace else. He'll basically be the Thomas Wayne, Flashpoint character.
What if Batfleck is back for a full episode and it's basically the Button?
Right.
Because that
would be fine with me.
That was an idea that I had. Ben Affleck was a great Batman that we all gave shit to, right? Okay.
I loved him. I
was saying before he got in the role, we all gave him shit.
Yeah.
He never got a solo movie. He backed out of the Matt Reeves one, and not only that, but he never got a proper send off if he's done with the role. Every Batman got that last movie, that last send off.
Yeah.
Batfleck never did. I wonder if this is going to be like, hey, Ben, do you want to come back for a portion of the Flash movie? And this can be your send-off? Like, what if they button it up? What if the first 20 minutes is basically the Button? But instead of Thomas Wayne getting nuked, Flash nukes Batman.
Yeah. That'd be fine with me.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I'd go so far as to say, what if Flashpoint opens with the Snyder Dark Nightmare version of Batman?
Or that.
Like, we open with that, and Batman's just like, do whatever you need to do. It's better than whatever we're doing here. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like, we don't go back to normal Snyder Gotham. We start in like Darkseid's taken over everything and Superman's bad. Right. Oh, I guess I got more to move on. All right. Well, do you have any more to say about Flash? Because I forgot how much more stuff was announced.
Right? Nah.
Nah.
We don't have that much to say. New suit. Batfleck's going to be back. Keaton's going to be back. So
cool.
All right. Next up, we got Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which was probably the funniest panel because it was just Zachary Levi going, we have a panel where we can't say anything.
Cool. Yeah. I saw the little like teaser. Okay. I mean, like, more or less what they did was they spent a lot of money to say The Rock has not pulled out of being Black Adam. And
well, I don't think The Rock. No. You're talking about the Black Adam movie. I'm talking about Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was a Shazam panel where they had the cast and they said Shazam! Fury of the Gods is the name. We can say nothing else. So enjoy a hour-long panel in which we cannot talk about the movie.
I skipped that panel. I just heard about the title. That's funny that was the news that came out. That's the title. I hope Black Adam's in it.
Yeah, exactly. And the best part was they had the comedian Sinbad show up.
Yes. Is he in the movie?
No.
All right.
I was making fun of the Mandela effect, where people think that he was in a movie called Shazam back in the day.
Shazam, right. Oh, that's okay. I'll have to go back and look for that panel. That's funny.
It was actually a pretty cool panel for what it was. I mean, they couldn't say anything.
Yeah. But
next,
no news.
Okay. WB game partners that I work with, if you happen to be watching this show, I 100% want to play this game, but I am not excited about this trailer. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
Right. Yeah. I like the idea behind a Suicide Squad game made by Rocksteady. I like the idea that you can that it's co-op and that you can choose between characters. I like the range of characters you can play with. I like the fact that like we're probably not going to go to Gotham at all in this game because like we want to show you like something else. It's the same universe, but like but like that sounds cool. But it's just an FMV, you know. So like I don't know.
The problem I have with the trailer is I don't know what the game like. Most trailers at least give you an idea of what the gameplay is, but we have artwork that is Harley looks realistic, but like Captain Boomerang looks over the top cartoonish. King Shark doesn't look right, and we got a really beefed up, buffed up Deadshot. They're also seemingly tying it into the Deadshot from the movie, who's not showing back up to the movie. By that I mean the fact that he's black. I'm not against that, but traditionally Deadshot's a white guy with like a big beard, like.
And Deadshot was not,
and he wasn't in the new Suicide Squad movie.
Well, like. No, he wasn't. But like I'm saying, Deadshot in Suicide Squad, which is set in the Rocksteady Arkham game universe, was already in the Arkham game universe, and he was white.
Yeah, and they're saying that this is in that universe.
Yeah. Is this a new Deadshot?
We also have a situation where like Captain Boomerang, they're like, we throws boomerangs, make them teleport. What?
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy it because like Rocksteady's proven they know how to make a friggin' fun game.
No,
but this trailer,
I
was like,
play it no matter what. But
the trailer was reminiscent of the trailer for DC Universe Online, which was a dope as hell trailer, and then I never played the game. That's what it reminded me of here.
It literally looked really like that because they're like Brainiacs controlling people. Like that's the plot to DC Universe Online, like
right. And I'm sure, I mean, the idea is, I'm sure, that the Justice League is being mind controlled and the Suicide Squad has got to stop them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, to add to confusion, guys. Apparently, I would assume at this point there has to be some kind of inner working, like, drama. Apparently, they said, and if I'm wrong, I can be. I mean, they've only given us trailers in a couple words, so I'm not. Don't take this like verbatim. Comicstorian said it. The Suicide Squad is connected to the Arkhamverse, but Gotham Knight, the one that you think would be in the Arkhamverse, is not.
That's right.
That one's a soft reboot.
Yeah, that's a completely different universe, which is also a co-op game, with multiple playing styles and characters.
Yeah, both those are next to each other. So let's talk about that for a moment. So next year we have a co-op 2-player Gotham Knights game, and then the year after that we have a 4-player Suicide Squad game.
Yep. In 2 different universes with the same character,
It seems like a weird decision. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to play both of these from beginning to end. I will be streaming them on twitch.tv/Comicstorian Gaming when they both come out. I will probably love both of them. This is not that argument. I'm just confused what is going on with these games. They both look incredible.
Yep.
But what is going on?
Well, and doesn't Warner Brothers Montreal, didn't they make Arkham Origins?
Yes.
So why wouldn't you just set it between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum?
Because apparently they've got to...
Or after Arkham
Rocksteady has always ignored Origins. And regardless of us saying that we enjoy it, half the fan base of the Arkham games go, Origins doesn't exist because Rocksteady says it doesn't exist.
Sure.
So now I feel like we're at a weird middle ground where no one really knows what they want to do with this. But it looks like what they settled on is, okay. Arkham Origins people like, but they don't want it at Arkham. So you make your game, and it can be a game called Gotham Knights. And then they'll continue what they want to do when we leave Rocksteady alone now.
Yeah. Can Arkham Origins be in the same universe as this game then?
Watch them do that. Watch them, Arkham Origins is not in Arkham timeline. It's in Gotham Knights timeline.
Yes.
I mean, they've done that kind of stuff before. Like, they re-release Arkham Origins, Early Nights.
Right, yeah. I expect, but no, Gotham Knights is essentially not a reboot, but, just a different continuity. It's a different game.
Yeah.
It just so happens that Batman is dead in both the Rocksteady and this universe.
Apparently. I don't know. We'll find out.
That being said, though, Court of Owls, hey, cool. They look great.
Out of the two of them, I'm more excited about Gotham Knights than Suicide Squad right now. But we also did get to see gameplay for Gotham Knights. So I knew, okay, this is what I want. I want 2-player. Now, the only thing I'm a little worried about is it's open world. My brother and I were talking about it. It sounds like Assassin's Creed, which I'm not inherently against, but that is not Arkham. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise. I have those statues around here too. But I don't know if I want, I will play the hell out of it, but it might not be what Arkham fans are looking for. So we'll see.
No, I'm I'm cautiously optimistic. I like some of the designs, and the gameplay looks fun. I don't know.
Co-op Batman? Why did you not want to do that? And I'm Red Hood.
Exactly.
So if we're playing, I'm Red Hood. There's no...
You're welcome to him. I'd rather be Dick anyway, so...
Fine. So, yeah, it's interesting, like, the way they're saying that's going in that direction. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is probably one of my all-time favorite games. So if we're going to do that, I am all for that. So
Right. That's cool. Okay.
But one of the people over in our Twitch chat, twitch.tv/Comicstorian, Roxas X said, it's not an Arkham game. We need to stop putting it in with Arkham. I agree with that, but you're not going to get around the comparisons for a very long time. Our Gotham Knights is a new game. Suicide Squad is a new game, but it's from the people that brought us the Arkham series. So until we see stuff that separates it, it's going to be an Arkham game, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they... I actually... thankfully, it's a little clearer, I think, than the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, where they're like, okay, so this is, like... You know what I mean? Like, is this Spider-Man 2? Is this a new Spider-Man game?
Yeah.
And it's
it's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay,
Right,
that didn't answer my
the
question.
Is this a sequel to the first game? Is this an expansion of the first game? Is this in lieu of a continuation of Peter's story? Is that the and I've heard
Miles
both.
Morales.
Yeah, Miles Morales. This one they're like Gotham Knights, different universe. Moving on. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate your candor. Like, keep me in that loop.
So, all right, moving on to the next one. This is what you were talking about earlier, the Black Adam teaser.
Right.
So outside of a few tweets and Instagram posts, this is the first time Dwayne Johnson actually was like, we're doing it. Here's the plot. Here's my villains. Here's my guys. Here, you know what I mean? Like, so I agree with you. It was just a more of a, no, this is still happening. At the same time, it was final confirmation. This is actually going through. This is not, oh, wouldn't it be cool, guys? And The Rock going, yes, I like Black Adam.
Right. Yeah, we, believe it or not, we are going to use one of the most bankable stars on the planet to play this character that could be his own franchise. Like, yep.
He wasn't going to be, but we got The Rock. He will not be a second-tier guy to Zachary Levi. No offense, Zach.
Right. Yeah. This dude has his contract, like, I can't look like a chump. You know, like, then that's that.
Because he said he was calling out the Justice League in that teaser. I really want them to build up an entire Black Adam franchise and then have Justice League versus Black Adam.
I'd see that.
Superman versus Black Adam. Like, now it sounds like they're doing it correctly. They're building up The Rock as this guy. Batman versus Black Adam. Batman's dead.
Well, this Batman, who knows?
Yeah. Now they can kill as many of them as they want.
Exactly. So, that's cool.
I don't think the teaser was needed. I think just having The Rock's actually there stating I'm doing this was fine. But I'm on board. I mean, I watch anything The Rock is in. If you could get me to watch Hobbs and Shaw and The Rock can hold a helicopter down with his hands, I'm good. You know, like,
yeah.
I still feel
Did you see Rampage?
Yes, I did. I've seen every Rock movie. I'm like a huge Rock fan.
I saw half of Rampage, the last half. I was like,
It wasn't good, but The Rock makes it good. I saw that one where he had the prosthetic leg and it was supposed to be Die Hard. And no one saw that. Oh, I can't even remember the name of it now. Skyscraper. That's it. Chat, help me out. Skyscraper. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see Skyscraper.
I have a man crush on him.
That's fair. I understand why.
It's The Rock.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay, next up we have Suicide Squad. Okay, first off, I'm excited for this. Secondly, it's got a cast of like 19 headliners. What?
Yep. Yeah, I love it. That sounds great. It's a great idea. It reminds me of Mars Attacks. Remember when Mars Attacks came out? Mars Attacks was like, here's 27 actors that you love. I'm going to kill all of them.
Right, that's what it feels like. Because you know half that roster is dying in the opening.
Yep. Oh, no, I think they're going to be like, no, we're going to kill someone within the first 2 minutes, and then we're going to kill someone every 15 minutes until the movie's over.
No, with 18, it had to be killing someone every 5 minutes. Someone has to die every 5 minutes.
That seems good. And, like, it's like, well, obviously we're not going to kill Waller, Harley, Rick, and everybody else is debatable. We're good.
Boomerang's back.
I guess Boomerang.
Jai's back, yeah. So.
Yeah, by the way, he looks great. He's got a suit now.
Yeah.
I'm down.
John Cena was on it, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. I can't believe that they actually brought like the existing cast back. I was like, oh, good for them. Like, the poor dude who played Rick Flag was like, he's such a joke in that movie, and it's like, I wonder, they're like, give him another shot. Come on. Like,
that actor is amazing. I
know, I like him a lot.
Altered Carbon's great. Season 1 is him. I think season 1's Anthony Mackie. Season 1 is him, though. It's great.
Cool. Yeah.
And I also saw him in that show Hannah on Amazon Prime. He's really good in that one, too.
Right, yeah. I know you're a big Hannah fan.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan.
Yep.
Natalie liked it more.
That's true.
But no, I mean, I'm excited about it. The teaser was awesome. The little, they didn't show very much, but they showed enough that I'm excited about it. Because you got and what I will say, and I said this during the thing, I'm excited that, for those who don't know, James Gunn was on MCU. He did it, Guardians of the Galaxy. He got fired. Yep. It was one of the big things of like, my tweets from 15 years ago got me canned. Then immediately WB picked him up, and a week later, Marvel brought him back because, Disney was like, oh shit, we didn't kill his career? Crap, get him back.
Yeah, exactly.
So
apologize.
I'm happy that at least from appearance sake, James Gunn is not half-assing it. Like, he's going all in, because he could have very easily been like, yeah, I'm going to finish up Suicide Squad. We'll get to it. But I'm back in the MCU, baby. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Exactly. No, I'm thrilled.
Yeah, no, so I'm excited that it looks like he cared. He's got a lot of big-name talent in this. He actually is putting the effort in to give us a good Suicide Squad. And I like the fact that it is kind of like a pseudo-soft reboot. It's just doing like the Suicide Squad does. We're like, all right, here's the new writer, new run. Harley's back, Deadshot's back, Courtney Jai's back. Boomerang's back. Don't question what happened last time.
Whatever, who cares?
Like right now, Tom Taylor's got... Captain Boomerang's back in Australia. But at the end of the previous run, Captain Boomerang was a malevolent AI that was looking for a body. You don't remember that run? That's where they fought General Zod and stuff like that?
Oh, I missed that.
That was really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a really good run. But what I'm saying is, like, that's just what they do with the Suicide Squad. It's like every new run's a soft reboot of the Suicide. Okay, it's back to Deadshot, Harley, and Boomerang. Who are the Expendables this time?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then it's like, if someone's a fan favorite, like, yeah, obviously we're gonna bring them in or we're gonna keep them around. Yeah.
Oh, chat's correct. It's Jai
so
Courtney, not Courtney Jai. Why don't you fix me, Sal, on that one?
Who cares? He's ruined so many movies. Like. I like him as Captain Boomerang. I think he's great. And it's like, just do those. Like, don't be in Die Hard 6 or 5 or whatever it is. You're so bad. So,
all right, moving up our list here, we have Wonder Woman 1984. Finally showed us Cheetah, finally showed us the armor, finally showed us a ton of this movie and the humor that they're bringing to it. I'm excited about it. I liked the first Wonder Woman, but there is something funny. So I liked Cheetah's appearance. I tweeted out that I liked it. A lot of people are like, first off, I love the responses. What are you talking about? That CGI looked terrible. It's a cat person. What do you want it to look like? The last time they tried to realistically do that, we got cats. Yeah. Secondly, I love someone who responded with, well, this just shows you that Benny's secretly a furry. I'm like, because I liked the animalistic go kill you version? I don't understand that statement at all.
Yeah.
I thought she looked good, Cheetah, because she looked like a monster, which is what Cheetah's supposed to look like. I feel like the people who are arguing against it, they don't want cats, but they want something sexier. And I feel like Cheetah shouldn't be sexy. She should be scary.
Yeah. Like, it's a cat person. That's scary.
Like, I get there's a lot of people that like cat people. I like Japanese animated cat people, but that's not a monstrous person trying to kill Wonder Woman.
No, I've seen, the fact is, like, your pet cat, if he were bigger than you, he'd kill you.
Yeah.
Cats are scary. And a cat person should be terrifying. At the very least, like, I mean, the fact is, this movie's like half a comedy, half a like action adventure movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to get body horror into my Wonder Woman 84, but I do like the idea of it being. I like we pointed this out last time we talked about it. You get 3 phases of Minerva, and it's like you get Barbara, you get like proto Cheetah, where she's wearing like a cheetah outfit, like a cheetah like coat, and then full Cheetah. Obviously, we're saving full Cheetah for Act 3 because that's where you have, according to your Wonder Woman lore, your big, terrible CGI fight scene.
Right. I was going to say, like, she's going to be in Act 3 for the final fight, just like when we got the terrible CGI Ares. Like, Old Man is suddenly like, whoa! You're like, that is so CGI.
That's rough. Is it as rough as Black Panther? Not as bad, but like maybe as bad. I don't know. It's a toss-up.
I'm not a fan of this full-on lean into CGI fights.
We're not there yet.
They're not impressive. Like, it's not like back in the day with like Jackie Chan and the fight sequence was 10 minutes long and I'm like, well, that was cool. Look at this human being getting his body tore into. Now it's like 10 minutes of the Black Panther fight and I'm like, it's just two CGIs going back. CGI. Like, it's cool, but did it need to go on this long?
No. Especially if, like, it's stop. You're like, it's so expensive and it doesn't look any better. Like, just dial it back. Like, he doesn't have to go on the train. Oh, no.
Are they rubbing each other onto the... Oh, now we're taking the masks off.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, no. Now they're just floating heads in space. This is... You can't acclimate yourself. Forget it. Like, just... and the only time we see Cheetah in full is when she's in shadow, which is like smart. Hide her in darkness.
I guarantee we're not going to get any like not lit up versions of Cheetah. I will be surprised.
We might get one shot, and it'll be one of those close up like face shots, like someone's like in a room with a flashlight, and then like shine her light, and it's like, wow.
Oh, here it is. I'm trying
to get that cougar sound effect.
I'm going to try to get a close up of the scene with. Like, the CGI does not look that bad. I'm literally got the trailer up right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad as people want it to look. It doesn't look like Cats.
No, it's not. It doesn't look as bad as Cats. She looks she looks like a cat monster, which is
right. Yeah. She shouldn't be hot. Like, we're not making a Thundercats movie here, people. I don't know. So it's cool. Like, I'm more excited about Maxwell Lord in this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see.
It's like, oh my god, I forgot Mandalorian's playing him. I was like, what? Oh yeah.
But okay, dope. So I'm excited. I want to see this movie. I'm excited that it's finally actually coming out. So
yeah, how many villains we're getting? We're getting Maxwell Lord. We're getting Cheetah. I think we'll get one more villain.
For everyone who's watching this live, I'll answer the stupid question about the Three Jokers upload after this. It's not as interesting as you all want it to be. Anyway, let us finish the podcast right. I'll answer it. Yeah. It's not that interesting as to why I had to re-upload it.
What happened to it? Yeah. I burped.
I've been getting asked this question all day. What happened to the first upload?
It made me want to go look.
I'll put it in the podcast. You know what happened to the first upload? YouTube glitched out and turned off monetization. So I deleted it and re-uploaded it. That was it. That's what happened to the first upload. I was like, it's Three Jokers. If I'm doing this, I'm at least going to get monetization turned on.
Yeah. Right. Please. Come on.
That's all it is. I uploaded it. The way I do things is I go through all the metadata. Then I click monetization to put the ads in. If you're one of the first people to catch the video, you'll have no ads. So I did all of that. I clicked the ad button and it was monetization turned off. They didn't turn it off. There's a glitch sometimes where when it uploads, it won't turn it on and you can't activate the monetization. Happened to be in my Three Jokers video. That's it. That's what happened. So I went in and went,
that's fair.
Oh shit, I hope it didn't go to too many people's feeds yet. Delete, re-upload. And that was it. And then we re-uploaded it and launched it.
And we're back, and it's fine. And it's Three Jokers, so you didn't lose anything in that.
Yeah, and the video is back up like an hour later, but I have nothing but comments of what happened to the Three Joker upload.
Yeah. Why?
They're like, what happened to it? This comment's like, watch it before it's taken down again. I'll tell you right now, if WB or DC showed up and said, take this video down now, I would not have re-uploaded it.
Right. Yeah, no. Let's see what they do now.
Yeah, no, it would have gone away. You would have seen a tweet that said, hey, guys, I'll cover Three Jokers in a week.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
And that would have been it.
Yeah. But I'm hyped for Wonder Woman, I guess. It looks bright and fun and colorful.
It does. I'm sorry. I hope it's good. Like, I have comments all day. I've got multiple tweets asking me, and then I'm just looking at both these chats, and I've got questions. What happened to the upload?
Yeah. It's like, dude, I'll tell you in a minute. All right, I'll tell you now.
Yeah,
Nothing.
It's not interesting. Nothing interesting happened out of that.
No.
All right. So next up, I guess we could talk about this because this didn't actually reveal very much in the terms of like what we're getting. But the next thing on the list is the Justice League Snyder Cut.
Yes.
To clarify real quick, the beginning of everything, Sal was in the same boat as I. The argument that I always had against the Snyder Cut, whenever we would do these weekly pull shows and everything, was that I didn't want a half-assed 2-hour movie that was the Snyder Cut that would lead into movies that didn't exist. I didn't want to get the implication that we are going to get a Flash movie. I didn't want the hints at what Batman's going to do or the hints at a Nightmareverse. That was my arguments against the Snyder Cut. We got a botched-up version from Joss Whedon that was a forgettable movie. A Snyder Cut was just going to hint at movies that don't exist.
Right.
That was my problem. What they've decided, it eventually turned into, the Snyder Cut turned into a great message for suicide awareness. And then it turned into, I was on board at the moment they announced HBO Max, release it there. Because there's enough fans that just want to see it. Now you can't even argue that it's going to cost money. It's just put it out. Like, let the man's vision live. And then we can all pass judgment on it as we see fit. If it is just a giant trailer, then whatever, but it's on a digital. What they're doing is goddamn incredible. I never would have guessed this.
No. The amount of effort, money, coordination, I mean, as I understand it, they're not getting nearly as much money as Snyder wanted because clearly it's not really the cut. It's the cut with a test audience of an entire movie release. Like, he knows what scenes worked and what didn't. He knows what
other movies aren't being made now. You know what I mean?
He knows he knows where things are going to go and where they're not going to go. It's why I think he asked for like reshoots and stuff because we'll shoot a couple of scenes here and there. Well, that's not a cut. That's another movie. You're making Justice League 1.5.
I made that argument, and I don't make that argument anymore because the true hardcore hashtag Snyder Cut fans freak out when you make that argument. But I'm like, you're still not getting the Snyder Cut.
You're getting 1.5 movies, and because he knows we're not gonna get a Cyborg movie. We're going to tell as much of Vic's story in this as we possibly can. Yeah, and maybe we can even get an ending for him a little bit.
My argument is we're still not getting the actual Snyder Cut, but what we're getting is 10 times better. So we're getting, the Snyder Cut is going to be 4 1-hour segments of his version of this movie. All the footage that he shot that would have gone to the cutting room floor is now all going in. It is going to be a 4-hour movie that will feel like a completed project. And in the opening of the trailer, we get to see his dark side. So it looks what I'm getting here is a lot of what he shot was intended for that second movie that never came to fruition. So now it's just all going to be one movie. So I guess it's technically Zack Snyder's ultimate Justice League cut. I guess you could say. Because it's both his ideas in one movie now with... So I'm excited. I'm really excited about what this is going to be because I liked Man of Steel. I liked Batman v Superman. And I really wanted to know where we were going with his Justice League and what we were going to get in the sequel, because at the time this was 2 movies. This was the Steppenwolf chapter and the Darkseid chapter.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see where it's all going to go. Yeah, he specifically said Flash has a story now. Vic has a story now. Probably not going to get much more Batman or Superman. I feel like most of their stories were kept in.
You'll probably get a lot more Superman, but that version.
Yeah. Black suit Superman kind of floating around. So because they showed him in the black suit.
That's right. Oh, they showed him at the end of the fight in the black suit. He never puts on the Superman suit again. He just wears the black one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be excited when it's all 4 of them because I don't like watching movies one hour at a time with time between them. I want to watch it all at once. So I will wait until it's all done and then I will watch all 4 hours and be all right.
Roxas brings up a good point. Wouldn't it be great if the Snyder Cut leads into the Flash movie and so that the Flash movie can be the finale and it's over?
Or it's the finale of the Snyderverse.
That's what I mean, because he resets the Snyderverse. So it leads in, they come in, and the whole opening is Snyderverse, and then they just wrap it. It's done.
Yeah, they could even have him come in and guest direct the opening sequence, and it's okay, Darkseid's there, and we watch him kill Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman, and then Flash leaves. You could do that.
It'd be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be good. Either way, we didn't get that much more new news. The panel itself... I mean, I thought it was cool, but boring at the same time. The idea that they were recognizing the people that got that movement going that has led to a 4-hour Snyder Cut, they're giving them proper recognition. I enjoyed that. But it was a lot of just back and forth. Like, what made you think to start the hashtag? I was like, okay, on really crappy webcams, and it was always funny. You'd go to like her and her webcam, and then he comes into his studio with his high quality 4K camera.
He's like, yeah, I agree. I'm like, you didn't use this camera when you were shooting this.
No. You definitely filmed your portions after the chat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing, and we're getting it. And so that'll probably be the last
Chat
thing.
says that I have to eat my shoe. I said I'd eat my shoe if they ever made... Technically, we're not getting Snyder Cut. We're getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I still don't have to eat my shoe. I said if we got the Justice League Snyder Cut, I would.
Right.
I'll just go to one of those websites where they make like realistic looking things, but it's actually cake.
Yes. Made my shoe. Chocolate.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, it's got cream.
So, but that was big news. We saw the trailer. That was the other big thing, was they released the trailer. And
all right, so the last thing is the Batman. There's a lot to unpack with this. I think we're gonna probably have to we don't have much stuff. We'll probably have to film a whole episode just only about the Batman when we get more information. But for right now, first off, I do want to say I've checked into it. There is full confirmation that fat guy that everyone's like, that can't be Colin Farrell. The makeup artist came out. That is Colin Farrell.
yes,
Holy crap!
that's so cool. Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we got Penguin, we got the Riddler, we got Catwoman. I think Robert Pattinson looks great in the role. He looks like... I do like the suit because a lot of people are like, oh, the cowl and the suit, they look a little off. It's supposed to be like year 1, year 2. It's supposed to be like a gritty, tactical kind of suit. He didn't really tweak it out to be Batman yet. He's just a guy with pointy ears right now.
It looks better in the trailer than it did in the like non-officially sanctioned photos of him on a motorcycle.
Yes.
And you know what? Yeah, he looks great. Like, he looks great as Bruce Wayne. Like, I love a young Bruce Wayne. Like, this is the most young it's felt in a long time.
We've never really gotten that story, though. We never got, like, early Bruce Wayne. It was always like, he's already Batman, and he's already known, and everyone works with him.
Well, I mean, Batman Begins, but, like, Christian Bale did not look like a kid.
Much as I love Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and...
And Dark Knight.
Dark Knight and then Dark Knight Rises. I love them, but I don't... And I'm going to get flack for this, and I've never said it publicly. I don't consider them traditional Batman. What's his name?
Chris Nolan.
Chris Nolan definitively said he wanted to make a grounded, real-world Batman. That's what it felt like. I felt like, I love those movies. Do not get me wrong. But you could have swapped everything and it not be Batman, Joker, Bane. You could have put anybody in those roles, and those movies would have been just as freaking good. They would have been incredible. And I think he did a great job with that because he took what would have been a standalone by itself movie, but he made it into a Batman movie, but kept it realistic, and I really appreciate that. But I don't consider that like Batman in the traditional sense of Batman. Like Batman Begins, you're right, but it's realistic level. That it's how would it work in the real world? We don't ever get that Batman story, which is why that was good. But you didn't need Batman to make that as good of a movie as it was. I think putting Batman as the Batman, Ra's al Ghul, putting all of the Batman stuff into it is what made it billions of dollars and like the biggest Batman movie ever. But
that's fair.
But what I've always appreciated about his franchise is that it didn't feel like it felt like it didn't have to be Batman. It was a vigilante. And I liked that. I liked that a lot. Because Bane wasn't traditional Bane.
No.
Joker wasn't traditional Joker. Even though people recognize that as the Joker now, that is not what the Joker was like before that. Like now people are like the Heath Ledger's Joker is my Joker, and that's fine.
Right.
But it wasn't the Joker. Like all of that. It's just...
Yeah. Well, I have two questions for you about that take. First question is, how dare you? And the second question is, who do you think you are?
Oh, you and I have never discussed any Dark Knight opinions.
No, I don't. I think that without Batman as an influence, no one would ever have written anything like that. And Joker,
you're not wrong. I do agree.
They would never have made a character like Joker if they weren't starting with Joker. They weren't like, I got this great idea for this crazy anarchist. Like, no, I think it was Joker. My take on him.
And this is what I appreciate about it. Even though Batman was definitely Christopher Nolan did not write a vigilante movie and then go, I'll put Batman into it.
Yeah, he showed it to Warner's, and they were like, "Can you put Batman in it?" Like, no.
No, I don't think that's the case at all. But I think that you could have taken the currently existing movie, and you could have just made it general vigilante guy and crazy psycho clown, and it would have just been fine.
Dark Knight Rises is basically just like it's just a Nolan movie. Like it could be anything.
Exactly. Now I agree. It was written for Batman. Joker was written for that version. I don't discount that. But what I like about the movie though is that I ever since all three of them come out, I always felt it didn't have to be Batman. He was reinventing Batman to be the vigilante he wanted, and you could have made that work for any superhero. That could have been a Moon Knight story. That could have been. Like, what I'm saying is, it was. You know what I mean? Like. I like it, but I don't like. That's why I've never been the one that argues bring Christian Bale Batman into the multiverse. Yeah. No, it's a separate. Leave it alone. It's a great series. It's its own thing. You know, that's how I've always looked at it.
That's fair. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I think that Reeves' Batman looks like the blend of everything I like about what Nolan did, mixed with the fantastic, you know, like it was like he and Warner's were like apologizing, like, oh, I'm sorry, we need $1 billion, so I got to make a Batman movie. I'm sorry. I promise you, he won't be in it much, but we will put a Joker in there. With this, it's like this is Batman. Like, this is somebody who likes Batman, who's like, here's something cool. Like this is a Batman movie where it's basically Seven. You know, but I could believe that Kirk Langstrom turns himself into Man-Bat in this universe.
Yeah.
He's not in the movie, I don't think, but like I could believe in a Killer Croc or a Clayface even in this world where it is gritty reality, but also Superman could exist. It's why I was very disappointed when you mentioned earlier in the show that like he might not actually even be like the Batman we're gonna get for like a interconnected universe.
I was like, no, supposedly
that's what I want.
Yeah, no, I agree
with
on that.
This.
I have a feeling both Warner Brothers and Robert Pattinson, since they've now opened the doors to the multiversal options, are waiting to see how this does. I don't think they want to.
Yes.
I don't think Warner Brothers or Pattinson wants to get all in and turn it into a bat flick where they're like, this is our Batman, and then we get 3 movies in and everyone's like, we hate this. Can we?
Oh, it was literally it was poor. Like Affleck shows up, I'm Batman, and like half the audience is like, "F you."
Yeah.
And then we got to Justice League, and it was like, "This sucks."
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
So
I
will say, Dark Knight I think started the trend of superhero movies in general. I've been doing a great job, which is why I've been liking them more than say early ones, of just making a movie that happens to have a superhero in it. Yeah, they're all written, like, I mean, going back to, like, MCU movies, like, one of my favorite ones is Ant-Man, because it's just a heist movie with a guy that can shrink. You know what I mean? Winter Soldier is just an espionage movie with a super soldier, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm all in on, like, I would love it if the Matt Reeves Batman movie were the springboard for the new DCU. The DCCU.
Yeah.
Because it is... Because all these comics are their own universes, it's just that sometimes they cross over. I mean, a Batman movie or Batman comic book should, in tone, feel different from a Superman comic, from a Green Lantern comic, from an Aquaman comic. But they all still exist in their own universes, the same way that, like, my story feels tonally different from your story, but we still exist in the same space.
Yeah.
I want this Reeves Batman movie to be the springboard for the DC Cinematic Universe because, like, Gotham should feel like Gotham. It can do that thing. There can still be a guy from Krypton who flies around and does stuff over there, and he doesn't have to shoot him or have kryptonite to keep him from showing up. He doesn't show up because narratively it wouldn't make sense for him to show up in this story.
Yeah.
You know, even within its own continuity within comics, every time Batman gets into a desperate situation, he could whisper Clark's name and Superman could swoop in and save him, but he doesn't. And we don't at any point reading comics go, hey, how come Batman didn't pull a Superman card? He was gonna die, you know.
Yeah.
So it would be if Batman were operating in Gotham and like crazy crap happened, and why didn't Superman show up? It's why No Man's Land still works, even though Superman does show up one time.
Twice.
And it's like one issue, and two times.
I covered it on the channel. It was long as hell.
I know,
He shows up twice. One time, I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
Well, he shows up and he's just like, hey, should I help? And they're like, no. And he's like, fair enough. Like, that's all you need.
The second time he shows up, he tries to go incognito to see what Bruce was talking about.
Exactly, which is fine. I'm okay, like, that's cool. And if you want to even do an Easter egg where it's like, hey, there's a reporter in Gotham and he's just keeping an eye on it. Like, does Batman have it on lockdown? I'm okay with that. But like, that's the kind of universe I want, where they feel like individual movies. Iron Man feels like a movie by itself. Ant-Man feels like a movie by itself. They all exist in the same universe. Incredible Hulk too. Like, these are movies that were like tonally within, like, for their characters. Marvel has a very different kind of a approach style. It's become quite homogenized.
Yeah,
but DC could do it, and it wouldn't, like, I don't think anybody's going to complain after we see Pattinson and his portrayal. People are going to be like, can he please bump elbows with Gal Gadot? Like,
I mean, well, the thing is, right now, I think people are on board because this movie looks incredible. But I think they're still iffy because, I mean, Robert Pattinson. If you most people, so a lot of people don't know about Robert Pattinson, is after the Twilight movies, he went on to do whatever he wanted. That was literally, if you read interviews, he picked the weirdest stuff that would allow him to exercise his acting chops. He didn't want to be in other big movies. He didn't want to be in any more teen dramas. That's why a lot of people who haven't really followed his career are like, he's the Twilight guy. Because the other stuff he did wasn't well known. He's an incredible actor. He really is.
Yep. The Lighthouse is messed up. It's a very bizarre movie, but it's a good indication of like how he can be moody and American, and it's cool. He's really cool. Like, he's got range.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing this version. Like, I'm really looking forward to it.
So, I mean, I don't know what else we can really say about it. We could do. If they want,
the trailer looks good.
I was like, yeah, the trailer looks great. We've been doing all that. If they want, we could do another episode where we kind of go through it scene by scene to figure everything out.
That's a good idea.
I think we should do that. Maybe we can link up and try to do it on another day before, so we just have more Absolute Comics episodes. But I think we need to start bringing this episode to a close.
I think you're right. Yeah,
okay.
we've really hammered it home. I mean, we did a lot. We covered a lot of ground. We did all the fandom and 3 Jokers. The biggest things come out of DC this week.
Exactly. So, guys, if you don't know what this is Absolute Comics. It's a show that Sal and I produce every Tuesday over at twitch.tv/Comicstorian, which is our Comicstorian podcast network. Every Tuesday we do Absolute Comics. Every Thursday is the episode of Comics Experiment. So whenever you see Sal take Dan's place, it's because we had bigger stuff to talk about in Absolute Comics, and I swapped those 2 episodes around. Hence what's happening this week, because Andy is on vacation. So this show is Absolute Comics, but we do use it as fillers for Comics Experiment. Both shows filmed live. If you want to support this show and you want to see more of it, please check out the other channel. I think it's still under Comicstorian TV. I don't even know.
Yeah,
anymore.
It was the weekly poll, so let me take a look.
If you Google the weekly poll, I still haven't changed the name, and that's intentional because people still look for the weekly poll. There is a YouTube channel. Sal will link it, and Flashboard will link it into our chat right here if I don't get to it. Where these Absolute Comics episodes get uploaded. You can also support it by becoming a YouTube membership member right here at Comicstorian, a Patreon member at patreon.com/Comicstorian, or patreon.com/ComicPOP, or by going to the YouTube side and just hanging out over there. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you liked us streaming this live on YouTube and on Twitch, let us know, because I don't see why we couldn't do this weekly if they really enjoyed it. So,
right?
What we traditionally do for those who are on YouTube and have never seen the show is once this ends, we stick around and answer a few questions before taking the show down. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Full Sail University, to get yourself a degree in. I'm trying to not get it wrong. Like, off the top of my head, I always say Full Sail University for a gaming degree, but that's not what they do anymore. It's a online and campus university to help you to get a degree in filmmaking and cinematography. They're trying to push in a different direction. I remember them when I was a kid being the place you went to. But either way, they're a sponsor. They've been a repeat sponsor for all of our shows. We love them. And I know people who have gone to that school, and they've got great careers in gaming and stuff.
Yeah.
But either way, that's our sponsor for today. And don't forget, you can also support the show by going to our other sponsor, G Fuel, using the code COMICS at checkout and getting 10% off of your order. So I think that's all of our sponsors today.
I think so, yeah.
Don't forget to check out Sal himself, guys. Go to his channel, ComicPOP. If you're watching this live, he would appreciate any support you guys have. If you like long-form content like this, that's primarily what he does over there. And that's it. Let's close out the podcast portion. Thank you, guys, and we'll catch you next week right here at Absolute Comics.
So long.